Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for stopping by once again. I've had a heck of a time getting this video out. 3 attempts yesterday, and this is the second one today. Glitch in the software, and then I just had too much stuff too. So I'm breaking it into two, which makes more sense. I was trying to jam it all into a reasonable time, and it just wasn't working. So I will complete one subject here, which is already something I've discussed, and then open a new one in the second one, and that will follow a day or two after this one. I want to give people a chance to see it. It gets a little confusing in YouTube when you don't know what's happening when you get two. For someone like me, when he does it like every couple of weeks, it's such a surprise, you know. So anyhow, I will get that out as I can. Let's hope this one works properly and I don't have to re-tape it. Now, having said that, the report of a retirement wave report that I send out every once in a while is out. If you didn't get it, if you're not a subscriber, then you can go to the retirementwave.com website, to the reports section, upper right-hand corner, and you can download it there. If you want to, you can subscribe while you're there. Believe me, there's no advertising, there's no sales, and it's rare when I send one out. This one is a relatively short one, but it's PDF format. It has some charts in it, basically, and I also added a substantial amount of text, but not by my standards, not substantial at all. So it's actually a very short PDF, and you're welcome to it. Now, I will put a direct link to that in the description beneath this video. Now, the big news of the last week or so, and one thing I've been waiting to see, and I finally did see it, was the Bloomberg conference. It's called a New Economy Gateway. It's their 5th year to do it. The first 4 were done in Asia. And the 5th, where they decided they wanted to do it outside Asia for the first time. North America? Nope. Europe? Nope. Latin America? Yes. And where in Latin America? Here, Panama. So that's really wonderful. You know, it was a great boon. Brought in some very heavy hitters, a lot of people, and the New Economy platform is their cutting edge thing. You know, it covers everything under the sun as subject areas of concern, from artificial intelligence to automation to climate change to immigration to, you name it, virtual reality, cryptocurrencies, everything that is coming down the road, well, not just coming down the road, is here already, which is beginning to change the whole economy. And they want to stay on top of this. They want to be leaders in it. That's Bloomberg's job. They're the news people. Were supposed to be way out in front. So it is. And they came here. I watched it through live stream here on the internet. And it was, I never don't go to these conferences. I'm not going to waste a lot of money and stuff like that. But I will live stream it. And when I see speakers that I really want to hear. And I was pleased. I got a number of viewpoints there that I thought were interesting. And a lot of it was just ordinary stuff, but still they were good. 2 things stuck out. One is the fact that speakers, although they disagreed on many items, informally and just comfortably, not fake or anything of that sort, would make comments to the fact that Panama was an exceptional case in Latin America, and that this was a good place to do business in. And I'm going, yes, thank you very much. The second one that stuck out too, and it was unplanned, it just happened. President Laurentino Cortizo, our president here in Panama, was asked if he could do an interview impromptu, and so they had to sit in a chair on the stage and be interviewed. But I think she was one of the managing editors of Bloomberg News. But in any event, he was interviewed for about half an hour. If you're interested in hearing what he had to say or anything, or getting a view of our president, and who will continue to be our president for the next couple of years, you can see it. I'll give you a link to it in the description too below. Sometimes I think it's interesting to hear these people who will be, if you live here, will become your president in a sense too while you're here. This is your home. Now, 2 announcements were made during the Bloomberg conference, and that's what I really focus on right now. I'm going to go directly to them. One of those was the announcement of a new port. Now, we got lots and lots of ports in Panama, but 6 of them really count, and they're the container ports. This is the 7th container port, and it would be built on the Atlantic side or Caribbean side, as you like. It's fine. We have These ports are run or operated by professional firms. This is their job. They run around. They do this with ports. They operate ports all over the world. We have firms here from Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, and SSA up in Washington State in the United States. Things like this. We have a number of different countries that are involved, different companies. This particular one is being operated by, it's going to be operated by an outfit, I've forgotten the name already. It's TIL, T-I-L, whatever. And more importantly, is that their job is to run ports, they're port running. They're very closely associated with MSC. MSC is actually the lead firm in this whole thing. And they are the world's largest container shipping line. They just replaced Maersk, which is from Denmark, as number one just earlier this year. They are headquartered in Switzerland. They are owned privately by a very wealthy man in Italy. It's the Aponte family. It's run, the son, I think, CEO, and the daughter is the CFO and this sort of thing. He and his wife started with one ship, as I remember. They built this amazingly largest shipping line in the world. They will be there, and it's very deeply involved in this whole thing. These two groups work very closely together. MSC is the lead. That's the ones we follow carefully because they're very important people. So they're trusted to do a very good job of this. And we're very pleased. It's a $1.2 billion project. It is like all the ports here, container ports. They are concessionary contracts. The company or wherever they're from or whatever, the head office, they don't own anything. All right? They don't own that port. All they do is they have a contract, a concessionary contract. Now, that's the same kind of contract at a shorter term level you get at an airport. For a restaurant at the airport, they have to buy all their own equipment. Everything is their expense, and plus they're paying a heavy rent for that very busy location. It's worth it to them. So that they have to put all the money in themselves, but then they can charge whatever they need to charge to pay off that and to pay for that, to pay their rent and also to make a profit. And I'm not sure how long the concessionary contracts last in these at airports. Maybe 10 years, I don't know. But in container ports, it's typically 25 years because it's a huge amount of money. That $1.2 billion is being paid not out of Panama's pockets, but out of MSC, TIL, and the others. Bear Stearns is helping put the whole financing package together. So that $1.2 billion is going to be money spent here, much of it. And we're going to employ lots of people, and it's going to make us even more competitive and help strengthen even more our position as the major shipping hub throughout the Americas from anywhere. And so it's a good thing, and I was very pleased to hear that. But it's pretty much a drop in the bucket. I'm usually $1.2 billion. We're used to bigger things, and we're getting one. Now, the other one that was announced, let me take a look here so that I can, where am I? There we go. Hi, I lost you for a minute. There is another outfit called SGP Bioenergy, and they will establish the world's largest advanced biofuel production facility here in Panama. And their purpose is to create biological material that can in turn be transformed into biofuel, specifically for use of airplanes. It's aviation fuel, specifically. Aviation is very much into this. Airlines are committed to doing it. There's a terrific market. This particular outfit has proprietary equipment and so forth. They run a dozen centers like this all around the world. They're very good at what they do. That's why they can attract what they're going to need for this one. The other 12 that they run now, they average around 55,000 barrels of biofuel being, or aviation fuel in a sense, being created every single day. Here, they're going to be producing 180,000 barrels of biofuel every single day. That's going to be about 2.6 billion gallons, for those who think in terms of gallons, of biofuel, more than the 10 billion line of liters and so forth. So as a result, this is a huge project. It will be operating at both ends, I'm told, on both the Atlantic side and the Pacific side. And the reason they're having it here, one of the reasons, a lot of reasons, but one of them is that they can produce it here. We've got land here where it can be done. And more to the point is we have the ships. Now, we already have all sorts of ships coming in and out of here, LNG, LPG, all sorts of unusual ships, the bigger ones and what have you. Their ships, they're going to use these specialized ships, like them too, to move this aviation fuel, this biofuel, to the airlines, wherever the airlines want it. They're going to buy it, and they'll ship to them. So if you've got the operation of on both oceans, it's great to be able, and you're near lots of ships, and there's all sorts of port facilities and all sorts of things going on here that are supportive of what you're trying to do. That's really, really a big step up, and it helps you. Well, we have connections, shipping connections with over 1,000 ports on the planet, so this is not a bad place to be. However, that wouldn't be enough to do it. The whole thing has to be worked out between the government of Panama, and it has been, along with Bear Stearns, along with MSC, along with TIL, and all the others who are involved with this. But it was sufficiently along the line that it was announced. There will be a link to it and the earlier one I mentioned in the description below, and you can see for yourself what it boils down to. I think the most interesting thing about it, the thing that took everybody by surprise, I don't think we were expecting anything this size, but this is a $7 billion project. It will be over 15 years, but there's a big push in the beginning. They're going to be up and running as soon as they can and beginning to produce and ramp it up as quickly as they can. And that's $7 billion is a lot of money. And that will replace the $6 billion for the copper mine, which replaced the $5.4 billion for the expansion of the Panama Canal, as Panama's largest project ever in its history. Very, very interesting. I don't know who's going to be able to beat that. I don't know if we didn't expect this. So who knows? We'll wait and see what happens next. But the key point is that between the two of them here, you got $8.2 billion. And there's lots of others. There was a great deal of talk about called nearshoring, having stuff produced in this area and then shipped on up to the U.S. so as to reduce dependency on Asian sources and on and on and on, all sorts of activities. This is the right crowd to have around. So it went well. It was successful. I thought, from what I saw of it, from what I've heard of it, quite successful. I salute everybody who put a lot of effort into it to get this thing to work. And, well, what more can I say? So this is the sort of activity that provides people here with the jobs and the security and the long-term view that means they can actually look forward to the future with hope that they're going to have, their kids are going to be able to get what they need in the way of a career. And a lot of ag kids here, a lot of the young men and women here who really are out in the countryside, they've been in ag all their years. There's nothing there. The small farms here just cannot provide the income necessary to raise a family. So we're losing so many of our rural kids. And there are a few operations that can still compete with the bigger outfits in other countries. But it's just the numbers just aren't there any longer. And I know I do a lot. I know a lot of people in those rural areas, and I've known kids who went out and got jobs in the city but came back anyhow because they're country people, And this is finally this sort of job. There's a huge hydroponics project that's also coming here, but it looks tiny compared to what I'm talking about today. But that's going to be 300 acres or 100 120 hectares of hydroponics. I mean, and especially fruits and vegetables that are sold in the U.S. at very high prices. And they're also, I trust, going to be sold down here. They look delicious. They're under the Sunset label, if you people ever see them up there. But this is the sort of job that gives these young people, I know, a reason to be in agriculture, but a modern agriculture, 21st century agriculture, to learn skills, whether it's in hydroponics or whether it's biofuel production or whatever, that not just teaches them how to work with the dirt. They know how to do that. What it does is it also introduces things like maintenance, about the storage, about transportation, about what it takes to run major, large operations like this. And they can be and will be trained up into these jobs. In the 15 years this project is going to do, before, absolutely, at least 15 years it's going to be operating, and probably far longer. This is a great opportunity for them. So I come from a small village. I made a lot of people were farmers there, and I know how hard it can be during those decades when I was back when I was there, and since farms have declined, and it's not easy. Well, it's the same thing here, and so I'm all in favor of stuff like this when it comes along. So I wanted to share that with you. It's great for the country. And it adds to what it was already found in the report. We look like we're going to be doing reasonably well this year. Thank you, and I'll be back here in a day or two with the second half, or the other part, opening up a new subject in answer to the question I'm continually getting, which is it really true that all of Panama is a buyer's market? And the answer to that is no. And I'll be talking more about that in the next video. Thank you for stopping by.